Welcome back. Today, we join a craftsman as he sets out to build a permanent off-grid sanctuary from the ground up, armed with only hand tools and what he can carry in a single pack. The first crucial step is selecting ground, with proper drainage and stable soil. Before heavy construction begins, establishing a baseline camp is essential. A simple tarp overhead combined with a hammock keeps the builder elevated from the damp forest floor, preserving body heat during the cold nights. Fire provides the immediate morale boost of a hot meal, but it also begins the process of drying the immediate work area. Cooking freshly foraged wild mushrooms on a thick metal plate ensures an even distribution of heat. Taming an unpredictable wood fire. The heavy steel retains thermal energy long after the flames die down. Survival is more than endurance. It is foresight. Once the camp is secure, the true physical labor begins. The hillside offers excellent natural runoff for heavy rains, but it requires deep, precise excavation to create a level foundation. Driving load-bearing posts below the frost line prevents the structure from heaving and shifting during winter freezes. Every shovel load of heavy, root-dense topsoil must be cleared away to expose the stable mineral earth underneath. A solid base is the non-negotiable anchor for everything that follows. Hours later, the structural framing takes shape. Tying the deck into the steep grade requires stepped access points, shifting the heavy foot traffic away from the soil and onto the load-bearing beams. The open decking allows airflow underneath the structure. This constant ventilation is critical in dense woodland to prevent moisture buildup and rot. The A-frame design is chosen for its immense structural integrity. The steep pitch of the triangular trusses efficiently sheds heavy snow loads directly to the ground, minimizing stress on the roof deck. Raising these massive, interconnected frames by hand requires careful leverage and balance. Once the skeleton stands upright, the builder immediately moves to wrap the structure in a synthetic vapor barrier. This membrane halts moisture penetration from the damp forest air while allowing the interior cabin space to breathe. The roof decking serves a dual purpose, locking the trusses into a rigid final shape while providing the exterior shell. Each horizontal plank creates a structural shear web against the harsh woodland winds. Working at height without scaffolding demands slow, deliberate movement, relying on the newly secured boards as an improvised ladder. Enclosing the front elevation transforms the open tunnel into a true shelter. The builder must cut the framing members at precise compound angles to sit flush against the steep pitch. Tight tolerances here dictate the structural integrity of the front wall and prevent drafting around the future entryway. Moving inside, the aesthetic takes priority, but the log slices also add significant thermal mass to the walls. Fitting the smaller, circular offcuts into the highest peak of the roofline requires immense patience. This tightly packed wood will eventually absorb interior heat and radiate it back into the living space. the exterior shell reaches its final phase. Driving the last galvanized nails into the upper ridge cap permanently seals the envelope of the cabin. The structure is now completely weatherproof. With the interior protected from the elements, the builder turns his attention to the subfloor. Long, continuous planks are driven tightly together, bridging the floor joists to create a stable, unified surface. The friction between the tightly fit boards eliminates deflection underfoot. Unrolling a continuous thermal break is the final defense against the cold earth below. This reflective foil insulation bounces radiant heat back upward into the living space, drastically reducing the fuel needed to warm the cabin. A well-insulated floor makes the difference between a temporary shelter and a permanent home. With the heavy construction complete, the focus shifts to integrating the structure back into its environment. Scorching the wooden planter boxes hardens the grain and creates a natural barrier against rot and insects. The added vegetation blurs the hard geometric lines of the cabin, softening its visual footprint. Final exterior details serve as a quiet declaration of the builder's intent. Using a blowtorch to flash burn, the lettering naturally darkens the timber, ensuring the sign will withstand years of ultraviolet exposure and heavy rain without peeling. The high contrast stands out clearly against the deep forest greens. Soft textiles disrupt the hard acoustic echoes of the timber frame, turning the rigid shelter into a comfortable, quiet sanctuary. The first meal prepared on the finished deck represents the culmination of days of intense labor. The heavy metal plate provides a searing heat, locking in moisture over the open campfire. In the end, structure, landscape, and daily routine operate as one system. What began as a scattered pile of materials on a damp hillside is now a permanent, self-sustaining refuge. The thick timber walls and deep foundation stand ready to face the coming seasons, completely off the grid. Some things are worth the long road back,